see what kind of news is out there. I'll look at our blog page. I'll look at Facebook. This is all before I get all to bed. Once I get all to bed, get dressed, get my daughter to school, get to work, check my emails again, start returning phone calls, talk to my editor to figure out what's the news of the day, what's the rest of the week look like. Talk to her about tips that I've got, received through email. And then I really start working stories. A lot of times I will have stories planned for the week, but every now and then you get breaking news and everything's on hold and you have to deal with the breaking news, the big news. So my day can change. I mean, I have to be very flexible because from hour to hour something could happen and all of a sudden I have to put that story down and handle the breaking news. So pretty much day to day it's a different outcome. But, most of the time I'm answering tips, I'm talking to my editor, I'm reading blogs, I'm reading Facebook, I'm calling people, I'm interviewing people. I mean, that's a big chunk of my day.
What have been some of the most interesting stories you have written?
Oh, wow, there's been a lot of good stories. Wow. I did a story. One of the stories that really stands out to me is when I wrote a story about gangs. And I actually spent a lot of time with the gang members, which was, in hindsight, I don't know if it was always the smartest thing to do. But I got to know these kids, and eventually I'd like to do a follow-up story. Because that story was about 5 or 6 years ago, just to see what happened to those kids. But that is probably one of the most memorable stories in Dallas for me was that story that I did on gangs in schools. Because these kids, some of them have committed big crimes, and they were talking to me about why they were in gangs and things like that. So that probably stands out to me as a story that was really big. And there was some other stories that dealt with school district spending that were pretty big. There was in 2008, there was a big shortage of money and they couldn't pay some of the teachers and people had to be laid off, and that was pretty big too. But probably my story that I will never forget is the story about gangs in schools, because those kids really had interesting things to say, so that'd probably be it.
What are the biggest current issues facing good education in Dallas and in the United States?
The big issues right now, a lot of the issues that deal with education are just finding good quality teachers and principals and people that want to be there and that really care about kids. You also have to find a balance to deal with, sometimes there's neighborhood crime and that encroaches, that comes into the school. So they're dealing with what we call a lot of social issues, because it's hard to control what happens to that student when that student goes home. But when that kid comes to school, you have to provide a caring environment. You have to have people there that really care about those kids and the education of those kids. And, sometimes it's up to those leaders like the superintendent or principals. The superintendent has to find really good principals. The principals have to find really good teachers. So it's a chain reaction, and if any link in that chain is broken, then you can have problems. So I think a lot of it is you have to find teachers who still want to learn and who really care about kids, and they have proven that they can educate your kids. You have to also find a way to get parents to come into the school and get involved. Parental involvement to me is really big when I know a parent cares about what's going on with the education of their child. So, between getting the right people in those schools to be with those kids and get parents involved, I think if you bring those elements together and you have some kind of good security set up where you can keep some of the neighborhood stuff out, I think you're on your way to having a good education system.
If you could give one piece of advice to my generation, What would it be?
God, stay in school. Do not drop out of school. Please do not drop out of school. Stay in school and get involved in programs at your school that, like if they have, maybe there's a science club or there's a program that focuses on technology. Get involved with programs like that, because sometimes it can help you decide what you want to be in life. Like when I got involved with our journalism club in high school, I started thinking, well, I want to do this. I really want to do this. And that kind of helped set me up to become a journalist. So get involved with different things, because when you're young, sometimes you don't really know what you want to do. You start getting involved in little things, like when we get new reporters, sometimes that new reporter will be like general assignments, or they'll bounce around. And that really helps them, because they start thinking like, oh, I think I really enjoyed the time when I worked on that education story. Or I think I really like covering the police beat. I like, covering crime. So I think as a young person, especially in high school, you should do different things, because you never know really what you might really love unless you kind of try it. Stay in school, get involved in programs in school, and go to college or some kind of technical school after high school. Because these days it's so competitive, where you want more under your belt than, high school's great, but if you could get training outside of, beyond high school, that's even better. So that's what I recommend.
Thank you for your time.
Those are wonderful questions.
If I have any follow-up question, can I email you?
Yes, you can. Do you need my email, or do y'all have it? I can give you my card. Let me give you my card. Let's see here what we have in here. This is my card, and you guys can email me any questions that you think of, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. You did a good job. I'm proud of you. What year are you in? Are you a sophomore or freshman?
Junior.
Oh, you're getting close. Have you thought about what you want to be after high school? What you want to do? Not yet. You got time. Thank you for interviewing me. That was nice. Okay. Let's see if she's out here. You did a really good job. You had great questions.
I'm not sure I do either, but let's see. Viewfinder, camera,